Hi, Mr. Right here, and welcome to this film in which we will work our way through some proportion exam questions. Now, you can hit the link in the description and download the questions, and then you can work through them before you watch the film, or you can work on them as you watch the film and work alongside me. Right, let's get on with the maths. Question 1. Right, we're making some small cakes. And we need 360 grams of flour to make 15 small cakes. But, I don't know about only, John has 0.85 kilograms of flour. Look out for the units. John works out how much flour he'd need to make 38 small cakes using the information given in the recipe. Does he have enough flour, according to the recipe, to make 38 small cakes? Show you're working clearly. Now, the first thing to say to you is that this question, does he have enough flour? That's going to need an answer which is either a yes or a no. So we must make sure that we do give a yes or a no. Now, let's read the question again and extract the information we need. Now, the recipe says that you need 360 grams of flour to make 15 cakes. 15 cakes, 360 grams of flour. Well, first thing I'd like to know is how much flour does it take to make one cake? So let's divide by 15, and then we'll know how much flour it is for one cake. 360 divided by 15. So one cake uses 24 grams of flour. Okay. Now, he works out how much flour he'd need to make 38 cakes. Well, let's do the same. Let's work out how much flour he'd need to make 38 cakes. So I'm going to times by 38. 24 times 38. That is 912 grams. So he needs 912 grams of flour to make 38 cakes. Now, how much flour did he have? Well, he has 0.85 kilograms of flour. Well, times by 1,000, that's 850 grams. So does he have enough flour to make 38 small cakes? No. And there's my working, but I could say, if I wanted to, he needs 912 grams. He has 850 grams. And there's my answer for question 1. Right, let's go up to question 2. Right, we are travelling from Zurich to Munich. The table shows the exchange rate in each city. So Zurich, here's Zurich. Munich, here's Munich. Right. Now we want to exchange 1,620 Swiss francs to euros. Okay. He would receive more euros if he changes his Swiss francs in Munich than he would receive if he changes his Swiss francs in Zurich. How many more euros would he receive? Well, let's work out how many euros he would receive if he did his exchanging in Zurich. So, in Zurich. Now, in Zurich, 1 Swiss franc gives him 0.9 euros. Okay, now how many Swiss francs has he got? Oh, he's got 1,620, doesn't he? So I'll times 0.9 by 1,620 to see how many euros I'm going to get, because every Swiss franc gets you 0.9 of a euro. So 0.9 times 1,620. So in Zurich, he's going to get 1,458 euros. Okay. Now, what about in Munich. Well, in Munich, €1 is worth that many Swiss francs. So for every 1.08 Swiss francs, he gets €1. So I'm going to do the number of Swiss francs he's got and work out how many 1.08s there are there. Because for every 1.08, he gets €1. He's going to get €1,500 in Munich. So in Zurich, he gets 1,458, and in Munich, he gets 1,500. Let's go to the question. He would receive more euros if he changes his Swiss francs in Munich than he would receive if he changes in Zurich. Yes, I agree. How many more? Well, I better do 1,500 minus 1,458. The answer is 42 more. Question 3. Right, I'm given some information here. I'm told that $1 is 0.85 euros. Change $720 to euros. Well, each of those dollars is 0.85 euros. So I'm going to do 720 multiplied by 0.85. 612. So $720 is 612 euros. Right. Next question. Change that many. I'm having a blip. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. So change that many of those into euros. Now, every 6.45 of those is $1. So if I take 2580 and divide by 6.45, then I work out how many dollars that is. And then I guess I'm going to have to take the dollars and change them into euros. So 2580 divided by 6.45. So that is $400. And now, because I have to go to euros, I'm going to take those $400 and change them into euros. So 400 times 0.85, because every dollar is worth 0.85 of a euro. So 400 times 0.85, 340. So my answer is 340 euros. Question 4. David is going to make some biscuits. Here is a list of ingredients for making 24 biscuits. Look, 24 biscuits. That much butter, that much sugar, that much flour. Well, David has 5 250-gram packs of butter. That's quite a lot of packs of butter, isn't it? 5 times 250. So he's got 1,250 grams of butter in total. Okay, he's got this much sugar, and he's got that much, 1.4 kilograms of flour. Well, let's put that into grams, 1,400 grams of flour. Work out the maximum number of biscuits David can make. Okay, well, I'm going to go to one biscuit. So biscuits. For 24 biscuits, he needs some butter, some sugar, and some flour. 120 grams, 60 grams, 200 grams. So I'm going to work out how much butter, sugar, and flour he needs for one biscuit by dividing 120 by 24, 5 grams of butter per biscuit. 60 divided by 24, 2.5 grams of sugar, and 200 divided by 24, 8.33 grams of flour. Okay, now, if it was just about how much butter he had, let's look at the butter. then he's got 1,250 grams of butter. Now he needs 5 grams for every biscuit. So he's got enough butter to make 1,250 divided by 5, 250 biscuits. Okay, now what about sugar? Well, he's got 750 grams of sugar. And if I divide that by 2.5, because one biscuit needs 2.5 grams, so 750 divided by 2.5, he's got enough sugar to make 300 biscuits. And what about flour? How much flour has he got? He's got 1,400 grams of flour. We want to divide that by 8 1/3, because every biscuit needs 8 1/3 grams of flour. So 1,400 divided by, I'm going to use the mixed number function on my calculator, divided by 8 1/3, 168 biscuits. So let's go to the question. Work out the maximum number of biscuits David can make. Well, the maximum number of biscuits he can make is 168, isn't it? Because at that point, he'll run out of flour. So that is my solution for question 4. Question 5. Here is a list of ingredients needed to make 12 chocolate brownies. There we go. Now, this person, Thalia, buys exactly enough to make 120 of these brownies. Those are the costs. This is what she sells all her brownies for. Work out the profit she makes. Right. Well, I better work out how much flour, chocolate spread, and eggs she had to buy, hadn't I? Okay. Now, this is the recipe for 12 brownies, and she wants to make 120 brownies. So she's going to have 10 times the number of brownies. So 10 times the amount of flour, 1,500 grams of flour. 10 times the amount of chocolate spread, 2,500 grams of chocolate spread. 10 times the number of eggs, 30 eggs. So we know what she's going to buy now. Let's work out how much that would have cost her. Now the 1,500 grams of flour, let's write costs. 1,500 grams of flour. Well, that is 1.5 kilograms, isn't it? 1,500 grams. And look, 1.5 kilograms of flour costs 130. So far, she's spent 130 on flour. Right. 2,500 grams of chocolate spread. Well, 500 kilograms costs £2.60. She's going to need 5 of those £2.60s, isn't she? £2.60 times 5. So she's going to spend £13 on chocolate spread. What a lot of chocolate spread. Now she needs 30 eggs. So how many boxes of 6 will she need? Well, 5 6s are 30. So it's going to be 5 times £1.10. £5.50. So that's her costs. So what does all that add up to? Well, £1.30 plus 13 plus £5.50. So she's spent £19.80. What about her income? Well, she sells 120 brownies at 40 pence each. 120 times 0.4. So I wonder how much money she takes. £48. So how much profit does she make? Well, 48 take away £19.80. £28.20 profit. Question 6. 2 kilograms of grapes cost £6.20. Now that's 2 kilograms, isn't it? So that's 2,000 grams. And that cost £6.20. Half a kilogram of grapes, or 500 grams, and 3 kilograms of plums cost £11.60. Oh, well, I wonder if I can work out how much those 500 grams of grapes will cost. Because I know that 2,000 grams of grapes cost £6.20. So I'm just going to divide that by 4. So 500 grams of grapes will be £1.55, right? So here it says 500 grams of grapes, well, that's £1.55, and 3 kilograms of plums cost this. Let's have a look. So £1.55 for the 500 grams of grapes, and 3 kilograms of plums cost £11.60. Okay. So if I do £11.60 minus 1.55, then I know that 3 kilograms of plums cost £10.05. So 1 kilogram, I'm going to divide that by 3. So 1 kilogram will cost £3.35. And that is all of those exam questions on proportion, all solved. I hope you found that useful. Please hit like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next film.